Welcome to DA Garage. I'm David. There are so many different vehicles you could potentially buy, yet sometimes, for various reasons, manufacturers choose to build a one-of-a-kind. And though we may want some of these cars, we can't have them, such as the Lamborghini Aton.
This drivable wedge was unveiled at the 1980 Turin Motor Show and was as radical in appearance back then as it is now, looking like it belongs in some cyberpunk type game or movie. Given the name Aton, which looks as if it would be pronounced Athon, is a name referring to the Egyptian cult of the sun, as this spider is devoid of any roof, its occupants would be receiving plenty of sunshine. Though called a Lamborghini, it was built by Bertone as a sort of gift to show their everlasting support to Lamborghini.
Wow.
A very kind gesture, though perhaps ill-timed because Lamborghini was in a very bad place financially, and would be sold just a few short years later. The Aton was based on the Lamborghini silhouette and used its 3-liter dual overhead cam V8, putting down some 260 horsepower and 237 pound-feet of twist, which gave it a reported 0 to 60 mile an hour time of just over 7 seconds, and a still today impressive top speed of 170 miles per hour. Aside from the top speed, those other figures don't seem all that exciting, but this was 1980, and for its time, that was plenty healthy. With its 5-speed manual gearbox and no sound deadening, this concept was truly a driver's car, and with its lightweight and proper suspension, driving it is said to be a glorious experience with all the right sounds and sensations.
Sounds great. Where can I get one?
As interesting as this car looks to be, it was never meant for the masses. Bertone built this stunning car for Lamborghini in the hopes that it would revitalize enthusiasm for the company and show the world a bright and thrilling future for Lamborghini. Unfortunately, they were too far gone, and the Aton was unable to do any rescuing. On occasion, the car is let out by its owners and allowed to stretch its legs. Considering that only one of these exists and it's fully functional, you'd imagine it'd be worth millions, right?
Well, you're wrong.
In 2011, a Swiss collector bought this one and only Aton for £347,000, a large sum of money, but still much less than I would have imagined. This car is tucked away in a collection somewhere, and I'm sure it's a very prized piece, but I'm also sure us car enthusiasts would love to have seen this car be produced. Even if in low volume, we want it. This is what happens when you're the founder of Canada's largest auto parts manufacturer and have millions of dollars to burn, and you want to show off your company's capabilities to the world. You build a way ahead of its time ultimate luxury muscle SUV, the Magna Terrarero. Vima International is known for supplying automakers with parts and engineering since the 50s, mostly being a normal supply and engineering company, and sometimes not, like when they decided to build this super SUV. In 2018, the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration mandated new vehicles to have a backup camera. The 1989 Magna Terrarero had one, plus 10 more cameras across the vehicle. It had tech that wouldn't be seen more commonly in cars for several more decades. Within its vibrant orange and gray interior, you're greeted to buffalo leather wrapped everything, a swiveling captain's chair, and buttons and switches and screens because future exciting. It boasts a large center screen for displaying all selectable 11 cameras, GPS navigation, and a TV receiver. During development, the engineers would play Atari games on that screen during their lunch breaks. And yes, it had a fax machine. Under all that buffalo leather and all those screens was a 3-speed automatic sending power to the rear wheels, then another drive shaft sending power back up to the front, making this behemoth all-wheel drive. The power plant that supplied all the grunt to make the super SUV move was a massive 8.1-liter V8, churning out 532 horsepower and 571 pound-feet, good for launching this monstrosity to 60 miles an hour in 7 seconds flat. The 80s was an era of squared and boxy shapes for vehicles. Designers, instead of thinking outside of the box, thought of a box, then stuck 4 wheels under it. However, this was not the case for the sleek and smooth Terrarero. The flowing lines and shapes at first seem radical, yet it all comes together and makes sense. It manages to look futuristic and intriguing without being overwhelming or distasteful. As impressive as it is for an auto parts producing company to design, engineer, and build a complete and functioning vehicle, mass producing such a unit was never reasonably possible. Adjusted for today's prices, the Terrarero would have to sell at a mind-boggling price of about $500,000.
Yikes.
Instead, this project was claimed to be a showcase of what Magna Vima is capable of, and to some degree it worked, as it later yielded multiple partnerships, though it would still be fair to say that this was mostly a multi-million-dollar vanity project. After its time under the spotlight and receiving all its initial oohs and ahs, it went tucked away, collecting dust and slowly deteriorating. Its fate on a sad course. But then recently, Magna donated the Terrarero to the Canadian Automotive Museum in Oshawa, Ontario, where it's on permanent display and being restored to its original glory. This captivating piece of automotive history was saved from a slow and hidden away decay and given new life. It may have been far too ahead of its own time, thus being in a way its own downfall, but there's no arguing that this vehicle is undeniably compelling and tantalizing. I'm sure we're all glad this mega SUV hasn't been lost to history.
This isn't the end of the video. Stay tuned because there is one more car that I want to cover. I just wanted to thank you for watching the video, and if you like it, please subscribe. Also, YouTube for some reason isn't putting my videos out there. My channel is actually surviving on my very old, more original content. I don't know why it's not putting out the new stuff. So that being said, if you enjoyed this, you will enjoy my other videos as well, so please feel free to check those out. Now let's get back to this other car.
The El Camino, Subaru Brat and Baja, Holden Ute, VW Rabbit Pickup, Ford Ranchero. What do all of these have in common? A bed, obviously. But also these were mass-produced, and anyone who so desired could buy one. These units were, and in some cases still, popular. So why didn't this cool little thing come to market? Yes, BMW did officially build this in the late 80s, the M3 pickup. This was actually a fairly easy task for the engineers as they already had a suitable body for a small pickup type thing, and that was their convertible chassis. The convertible already had additional bracing that would support a frameless bed, almost like this chassis was supposed to be a little pickup. Originally, the lads that created this used the suitable but unimpressive Italian M3 engine, which refers to the reduced displacement and output engine being sent to Italy and Portugal at the time. Eventually though, the 2-liter engine was too dull and drab, so they yoinked it out and installed the much better 2.3-liter S14, making about 200 horsepower. Those of you that know your BMW history are already aware that this little unit, though called an M3 pickup, was not actually an M3. When comparing the body shapes, it becomes immediately apparent that this pickup project didn't have the widened wheel arches like the typical E30 M3. So, was this M3 pickup a gift to BMW like the Aton? Well, no. Was it to show off their engineering prowess like Terrarero? No, this was simply the Germans having a little bit of fun tinkering with one of their cars. Its 26 years of life was served as a parts carrier, transporting parts and stuff, within the sports division factory, and that's all it was intended for.
If it wasn't hard to build, it probably would have been worth BMW's time to mass produce a batch of these things. Pickups are very useful, so it probably would have sold decently.
After the E30 pickup served its long, nearly 3 decades of use, the Germans devised a plot to tease us with this, the E92 M3 pickup. BMW treated us like the hallway light switch. They turned us on, then left. They made it look like the E92 pickup was the real deal, with a real press release and photo shoot and spy shots of it racing at the Nürburgring. It was all but confirmed to be coming to a dealership near you. Except it wasn't. Released on April 1st, this was a cruel April Fool's joke. Though it exists still today, it was never made for public roads or to be mass-produced. Rather, the Bavarian company decided to have a little bit of fun, cause a stir, then act like nothing happened. The E30 was sadly scrapped, but the E92 lives on somewhere out there.
There's a countless number of intriguing cars that have been built, but for various reasons never made it out to the public. This was just 3 of them, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please subscribe, like. I appreciate comments, I appreciate you watching. This was an interesting one to make, and it's hard to choose just 3 because there's so many different cars out there that I could choose. But I also want to choose ones that I think you would find interesting, and hopefully that was. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time.